Ojamaaki Kindred Spirits, welcome to Mermaid Tales. Let's get wild.
Quite short, but this process could take anywhere between 1 to 3 hours depending on what you are making a mold of and how much you're gonna do. In this case, I'm going to make a mold of 4 of these little starfish. Da-da-da. That's how they move, they're very squishy. All right, to start off, we have some plaster, we have some options for containers, and we have some lids here as well. I'm gonna show you what those are for in just a moment. And of course, we have some of the things that I have created over here, which I will show you afterwards. When starting with a plaster mold, a lot of the times you might see people set up their workstation, and on the hard piece itself, they might pour the plaster and build a wall around it. If you use a recyclable container, or in this case, a lid, and it can be something with a thin wall, or it could be something with a little bit of a thicker wall. Of course, the higher the wall, the more structural integrity you will have, so you can also use something like this and maybe just pour up to here, not the whole thing unless you're doing something that is quite thick. On the other hand, I do have this recyclable container. I want to tell you why we are not going to use this. The main reason being that you can see there are some holes inside of this. This was originally a fruit container. We will not use this for obvious reasons. Now, technically you could patch up the holes from the inside, but why bother add an extra step when you can just use a container that works well. So we'll set that to the side and we'll get started. For the sake of this session here, we're going to use just this lid here. This is something that was used on a large bottle. It's fairly thick and the sea stars themselves are about this thin. So you can see the comparison there. It's not even halfway to the top. Put it inside and you can see it kind of disappears. First, I'm going to just test with placement and then we'll move on to the next step. Technically speaking, you don't want them to be way too close together, only because once you start to pour, the silicone will kind of attach to itself. There are some tricks to know how much plaster you need and how much water you need, but because this video has to be quite short, we're just gonna get to doing the plaster in the water, and in the Mermaid Warrior Circle, we will discuss the longer step-by-step version. That's just my mold release that I put onto the container because I want to make sure that I can take these guys out of the plaster mold. Technically, you can use Vaseline or any mold release. I just use one that I can buy at the store here. It's pretty simple. And then we can go ahead and mix our plaster, pour, and make our silicone squishies. So our plaster is looking kind of caked at the top. It's ready to be mixed. And we love that thickish, creamy-ish texture. Not drippy, but slow drippy. Now I can even feel the resistance when I pull inside. It's perfect. And I'm just going to pour it inside. Be a little bit gentle. Start from the center, let it go out. Steady, slow stream, and let it fill up all around. And just for bonus fun, I know how this is going to turn out, but I wanted to show you guys what happens when we do a plaster mold on seashells. Again, we pour in the center and let it flow out. So we got our original mold here with the starfish inside. You can see it's kind of shiny. You can see the reflection of my window on there. That just lets you know that it is not dense enough yet to release from the mold. So we're gonna give these two guys a break, the focus and the bonus, and then we're gonna see what happens. And while we wait, we will talk about these guys here. These are all my creations, my experimentations of making silicone, because the truth of the matter is when you start getting into silicone art, you will have to experiment in order to become great at what you're doing. Instead of trying to be perfect, it's better to start with the idea of play, trying to bring your imagination and your vision to life. So I was able to do a couple mistakes that I wanted to show you guys just so that you guys can see a non-perfect mold creation. I'm gonna pull this guy out, and then you see the fourth one is missing here. That's because it probably floated because of the plaster underneath. This one was perfect, so I'm just gonna take this one out just to show you guys first. All the details of the starfish are captured, and here is the starfish itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and take out the rest. This is a clay tool that I have. All you're gonna do is just press down where it's supposed to be, and you're gonna do that over and over and over again until you can take out the rest. So all 4 are out. I am still hacking away at the seashells. This is what it looks like right now, but I'm trying to figure out a way that I can take out the scalloped edges without breaking the entire mold. This is partially why I don't embed hard objects that have similar compositions to stone inside of plaster, because this is stone. So you're trying to take stone out of stone. It's a bit of a struggle. So I didn't show you guys the whole process of me hacking at this because it took me an hour to do. So this is what happens when the plaster itself is not poured directly onto the shell and poured well. Instead it drains off and there's little bubbles that happen, and while the bubbles happen, the plaster is solidifying. So there's no way to really fix that except if you wanted to go ahead and, you know, fill those holes perfectly. I hope you guys learned a bit from me today, as well as some of the mistakes that are possibly made when doing a mini mold. In the Mermaid Warrior Circle, we will actually make pours and attach these little pieces onto some other larger pieces that we'll make in the Mermaid Warrior Circle. So thanks again for joining us, guys. We'll see you in the next one.